Hi everyone. Today we're going to talk a little bit about one of our collections, the Hy Berman collection. And you know, here at the Eastside Freedom Library, we like to say that we're about the production of knowledge, accessing knowledge to be sure, but also producing it. And Hy's collection gives us a very rare window into the production of knowledge. And so what I want to do today is introduce you to 3 volumes from Hy Berman's collection. 2 of the volumes were written by graduate students of his at the University of Minnesota while in the long period when Hy was a professor there. So one is David Nord's Socialism in One City, a political study of Minneapolis in the progressive era, which was written in 1972. And we have this really remarkable study, The Minneapolis Labor Movement in the 1930s by George Dmitry Tsilos. This dissertation is really considered to be one of the definitive studies of labor in the 1930s in Minneapolis. And this was done as a dissertation for Hy in 1970. So these are both great, but here we have something very, very special. Here we have Professor Berman's own dissertation, written in 1956 at Columbia University in New York. And this is entitled The Era of the Protocol, a chapter in the history of the International Ladies Garment Workers Union, 1910 to 1916. So Professor Berman studied Jewish immigrant labor, particularly in New York, before he moved here to Minnesota and became a mentor for Minnesota students studying the history of the labor movement here. So let me show you where these books came from here in our stacks. And it's an opportunity for me to point out that when we moved into this building in the summer of 2014, none of these shelves above the fake brass were here. And a friend, John Seeloff, a so-called retired carpenter, John came here and continues to come here to help catalog books. But one day when we noticed that there was a danger that we might run out of room, John said, "I'll just build you more shelves." And so all around this building, all the shelving above the fake brass was added by John Seeloff. If I didn't tell you, you wouldn't know it, because it looks like it was always here. So I bet a lot of you knew Hy, or at least knew of Hy. He was a figure on the Almanac TV show. He was a frequent public speaker on the TV news. But having Hy's books really gives us the opportunity to appreciate the way his knowledge developed over his lifetime. He was born the child of Polish Jewish immigrants in New York in 1925. He got a degree and then a graduate degree, a PhD at Columbia University in the mid-1950s. And then he landed a job at the University of Minnesota. And what we can see in his books here are the interests that he had and how they developed. So Hy had a deep interest in labor history, particularly the history of immigrant workers. He also developed a deep interest in Jewish history. And many of these books take us into different places and times in the history of Jewish people. And then we find a rich collection of Minnesota history books, because that became Hy's passion, Minnesota history. And he became an advisor to leaders in the DFL, the Democratic Farmer Labor Party, and brought a historical perspective to the political discussions here in Minnesota, particularly in the 1970s and 1980s. Hy lived until 2015, passing away at the age of 90. And his ideas and his work live on here on our shelves at the Eastside Freedom Library.